Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Learning Insights podcast brought to you by Evan's Learning Insights Group. Today, my guest is Russell, as I like to call him, king of the side hustle. This man has more drive and businesses than anybody that I've met. And so, Russell, how about you just give us a quick rundown, if you would, kind of all of your businesses, and then I know we're going to talk about your firearm business is our main focus today, but just kind of give us a little bit of background, and then this is your time. We can talk about however you want.
Sure. I'll give you a quick 5-minute synopsis. But I started it I guess the businesses, we have a vending company, and that company provides pool tables and jukeboxes and ATMs and that sort of thing. Everything you see in a bar, and that is Trinity Amusements. We do that throughout the state of Texas. But because I do that, I travel around the state all day, all the time. Got a lot of miles on my truck, and going from bar to bar to bar and venue to venue. I also hit up all the gun shops. So we move guns around. I know a lot of people in the gun industry, and we used to have a gun store. I started a place there in Lake Worth. Actually, we started in Halton City, and then it grew to Lake Worth, and then I sold out, and many years later, I guess the highway came in and took it out. All the traffic came out right there on 199. So it was sad to see it go, but I wasn't part of it anymore. So, and during that time, uh, we were running guns and I say running guns, we had our firearms in this training facility down south, and we were trying to help get them going. Look at this airport. Fucker County Airport.
Keep them plug, yep.
So,
Talking about running guns and planes fly over. I mean, it's like we planned it.
Well, we during all this, we did machine gun rentals, and we visited this place called the Ranch, and down in Dilley, and we made friends with a bunch of really awesome guys, solid shooters. I mean, some of the best in the world, um, and some of the best training down there. And while we were down there, we saw a lot of guys that just didn't really. They had whatever gun was right off the rack, or if it wasn't just right off the rack, it was uh, built based on whatever the latest Instagram feed was. You know what I mean?
So the influencer gun.
Right. And so I saw a need down there, so I started asking some of the best shooters in the world, "What's your favorite X? What's your favorite handguard? What's your favorite whatever?" And we see all these Cerakoted guns and stuff, and Cerakote's cool and all, but the reality is the black guns are Type 3 hard coat anodized. That's the black uh, coating on the outside of a black AR-15 is harder than anything you could possibly do. You can scratch the crap out of it. The Rockwell hardness is way harder than the aluminum underneath it. So whenever we'd see all this stuff, all these different camo patterns and everything, we'd see how it was applied, and we just noticed that it was
Half.
that is interesting.
Drones, yeah. We're in the country, so we get a little bit of special guests from the birds and the planes and different things. But
we noticed these guys would sandblast the Type 3 hard coat right off the top, and then Cerakote the dang aluminum, and we're like, man, and then it would give up the guns. We're like, man, there are inherent problems in this. There are inherent problems in all these added things. We started running machine guns first, so that was our thing. So when we did the full auto rentals, we also did belt feds and whatnot. So a lot of these guys would employ us, and we'd have to come out with our guns and demo them to them because they were potential clients. And we just seen inconsistency throughout the board, but everybody had the same problems. So we started fixing them one by one. Like, oh, okay, you like the Bravo handguard. Oh, this guy likes Bravo handguard too. Son of a gun. This is probably the most common handguard amongst the most professional shooters. So, and then every time any suppressor company would come out with anything, you're like, oh, you got adjustable gas block. There's adjustable bolt. To try to make your gun run good. Well, everybody did that all like, I had 3 or 4 of them. Everybody had the newest adjustable gas block, or, they had that Allen wrench that was, like, a foot and a half long to go down the handguard. Like, I I I I don't know what guy that has that gun isn't buying the cheapest ammo off the Walmart shelf, right?
Yeah.
So, literally, like, "Oh, it's 2 cents cheaper, I want that 5.56." Well, that 5.56 is made in Pakistan, and this one's made in, Lake City or something like that, and there's just different variations. Well, no one's adjusting their gas block for the 20 rounds they just bought, right? So we had to get consistency, and we found that with the top tier dudes. Everybody down there is running the 62 grain Lake City. So we're like, well, let's base everything around this. So we built the gun around the ammo. First, we started with the shooter, and then we went with the ammo. We can't change the shooter. The shooter's got 2 arms, 2 legs, 1 mental capacity.
Right.
What makes this more comfortable? And then we can't change the ammo. Yet another constant. So what we did is we just back engineered it from there. And once we got a really solid rifle together, the TRD T15, then we started messing with uh, eliminating the real problem, which was gas to the face. So, and it sure is a nice day.
It is. It's beautiful. Um, so you you were working when you say with professional shooters, you're speaking with to the most part for law enforcement, military guys, somewhat not like just competition shooters. Are you in both with this rifle?
Yeah, with
What's
both with
the
this rifle, actually. I mean, what we found out is we can make 700-yard shots with 10-inch to 11-inch barrels. I mean, it's not like it's not the good old days where we had the 20-inch.
muskets?
Yeah, but I've heard people refer to that. Like we went through, me and you went through basic similar times,
Yeah.
and the Kentucky long rifle is what the new guys called it when they got the M4s. Yeah, I was like, yeah, I'm a Kentucky
Yeah.
long rifle guy, but we were making 300-meter shots, open sights, like it's no big deal, right?
Right.
So that's not the case anymore. Now the technology on the barrels and the technology on the ammo and then the technology on the optics plus the training, I mean, has really got you 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 can train somebody to do 500 yards out of an 11-inch barrel 5.56 gun in a matter of minutes.
That's crazy because back when we were in, I can remember. I'm sure you went to a soldier or NCO of the month board, and you had to talk about the capabilities of the M16. I think we were shooting A2s at the time, and it was anything over 600 was considered an area suppressed target. You weren't expected to be able to hit a single.
Yeah, because they didn't issue optics.
Well, with no optics, but even just the capability of the rifle and the round. I think they were using 55 grains back. We were using 55 grain.
I just think nobody pushed it, and they just assumed. And and then why bother? You still had 308 and Wraith and
Well,
30-06. You still had the snipers, and so
and that
the well, what they did right is the warfare changed as well.
true.
Right now we're fighting house to house more, and the minute you start fighting house to house, that's when we needed a shorter barrel. So then they went to the 16-inch, right? The carbine, the M4, and those were the door kicking days, early Iraq, Iran, and then all through Afghanistan. And then it turned out, I mean, we don't really need most of the combat is within 50 yards. We don't even need all this stuff. So all the guns adapted down. And if you're law enforcement or any .gov anything, SBR laws don't apply to you. So um, you drop down to 10 to 11 and a half inch barrels, and that's where we honed in our market at Donovan Manufacturing. is we were like, okay, we're gonna start a gun company, but we're not gonna start it from the Instagram side. We're gonna go straight to the source, straight to the baddest dudes. What are they shooting? What are their problems? What are the only guns they're using? And these guys are shooting, they're shooting HKs and stuff that nobody can ever get. And not only that, they're not having problems with it, but it's like you're not having problems with a Porsche. The turbos go out. You know what I mean? It's we wanted the most solid, fundamental, no frills, works every time gun, and that's what we did. So we did that with the buffer weights. We designed a buffer that was, we call it the 3 plus, and the H3 plus. We actually got movement in the buffer using high carbon steel and raised the weight of it up, so that slowed the gun down a lot. Our biggest failure point on our gun are buffer springs, which I didn't really know was a wearable item. So, I mean, we can get a couple 100,000 rounds out of a buffer spring, but it goes bad. It may be a heat situation too. We're still working on that, but Wolf Spring's been really working out for us. They're the ones that we've been shooting so far. So, but yeah, anyway, we got the rifle down pat, and then, like I said, we started looking at suppressor use, and suppressor companies would send us cans to try out, and we just claimed ourselves as the guys that will blow up your shit. If you want me to test a can, send it to me. And we got to where the people stopped sending it to us because a suppressor will say machine gun rated, and it's like, well, machine gun rated, assuming you have a 20-inch barrel, shooting this
That's
and
so
it
funny.
and one magazine. I'm like, no, machine gun rating is suppressive fire. Let's do a few mag dumps. Let's make it happen out of an 11-inch gun that they're already shooting. And whoop, I mean, we're talking like 20 rounds in. Some of these machine gun rated cans are the first baffles toast. So we started looking at other can designs, and we found a few good ones. I mean, energetic armor, it's badass. I don't know what they make that stuff out. It's like some sort of special Inconel NASA something or other, but it's bad to the bone. Those things hold up, and they're a Texas company. And we did a lot of stuff with Griffin. We like their cans. AB suppressors are pretty cool. They're really good on the pistol stuff because it's not as hot, but they're really light. Their tagline also, get this, is "Rib for ear pleasure." And they got ribs on the suppressor. It's pretty rad. So anyway, we were going down the line testing cans and whatnot. We started seeing all the blowback to the face. We'd be using gas buster charging handles. We sought out to fix this problem, and we sat down with our engineer and we're like, "Hey man, check this out." And he's like, "Well, what if we just vent it?" And so we started thinking about the ambient pressure and where the gas comes from, and like really all this is after the round goes off. So the pressure is the highest in the upper receiver after the round goes off and leaves the barrel. I mean, the bolt is coming back. So quick run through. Most of your guests probably know this, or most of your viewers probably know this, but I'll break down the AR-15 real quick.
Sure.
So what you got is a bolt that's inside the receiver that comes back against a recoil spring. The recoil spring picks up the round from the magazine, loads into the chamber. The You pull the trigger, the hammer goes off, hits the firing pan, hits the back of the round, and the round goes down the barrel. In between the round going off and the round exiting the barrel, there is a hole in the barrel, and all that gas in between the bullet and the casing goes through that hole. Now it goes down this gas tube on top of the barrel and back up into the receiver. And that tube fits into the gas key. The gas key is attached to the top of the bolt, the same bolt that just picked up that previous round. So that gas blows that bolt back, and that's the power that shoots the bolt to the back into the buffer spring and then back into picking up the next round, rinse and repeat. Now, there's a dwell time aspect between the round going off and it leaving the barrel. The pressure is different rates at different parts in the barrel. The closer you're going to get to the round going off, the higher the pressure. The further you get from the round going off, the lower the pressure, but the more consistent. It's almost like turning on a water hose. It's really high in the beginning, and then it starts an even flow. Well, the minute they chop the barrel down, well, in the beginning, with our Kentucky long rifles, we had 20-inch barrels. I don't know if you can see my hand. We had 20-inch barrels, and the um, the gas block where the gas tube attached was way out here. It's rifle length gas system is what we call it because it was a rifle. And then we went to carbine, and then we had carbine length gas systems. And so the gas block moved in further. The barrel length shortened, so the dwell time between the round going off and the round leaving the barrel got shorter. So now the pressure is higher. Pressure is much higher coming out that gas tube. Now, in the original patent, the gas to the face wasn't really that big of a deal. Hell, suppressor use wasn't even that thing. There was like 5, and you heard about the CIA doing it and James Bond type shit, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So nobody really accounted for suppressors. And gas to the face wasn't a thing. It wasn't even that big of a deal whenever we were in.
No. Oh,
And
and of course we were shooting rifles versus the carbines, and I think when we were in, probably the only military guys shooting suppressed would have been, your Navy SEALs, your Army Green Berets, not even the Ranger, not even, because they didn't, most regular, we were still very much training conventional warfare. So we weren't trying to hide. They knew where we were, we knew where they were. And it was, you know, kind of going back to almost, Revolutionary War time where we were lined up on one side, you're lined up on the other, and let's move to close to contact. And
so let's fast forward this idea, right? So now what we're dealing with is an ideological kind of an ethos in the military or throughout the entire population that suppressors are to be subversive. Suppressors are made to be hidden, and only the CIA and the special ops guys use them. Well, that and everybody on Instagram. And so, if that's the case, cool. But what we found out through the civilian market and through special operations guys using it is it actually lowers the decibel rating of the guns going off, which is the main reason most veterans have tinnitus.
yeah,
I mean, I I think that tinnitus and hearing problems are the number one disability amongst disabled veterans. I think it's like some stupid number, like 50% of the disabled veterans also have that's one of their claims. I know it's one of my claims.
yeah, it's mine too.
So 100% of the people on this podcast vouch for this.
Have to have hearing loss and tinnitus based on
so so the idea is, and then that was the whole earplug debacle. Remember the whole 3M scandal?
yeah, I
You remember having to carry earplugs in your pocket? Did you
mhm,
have to do that?
yeah, and I was a part of that class action on 3M.
Were you?
Yeah, I got a little payout from them, so that was
So this is right up that alley, right? So what this does, the reason that nobody wants to use suppressors, it's fun and cool, but the reason it's not more ubiquitous,
sure,
whatever. Did I say it right? The reason it's not out there more is because the freaking how uncomfortable it is to shoot it and how inconsistent it makes your rifle function. Because everybody that's using it is buying the cheapest ammo that has all different variations.
Reasons.
And then there's all different suppressors. So this suppressor has this much back pressure. This suppressor is a little shorter, has this much back pressure. This suppressor is 3D printed, vents from the front. So it doesn't have any back pressure. Of course, you lose some of the sound deadening ideas, and it weighs 4 times as much. But there's all these different variations. But the real nut of the gun is don't change that at all. Let's build a suppressor to make the gun work. So we knew we couldn't do that. So let's make the gun work for everybody. And let's make the idea of using a suppressor common. Let's make it to where it's a safety feature, like safety glasses. Like
Mm,
I remember when I was a kid, nobody was like, "Hey, put your safety glasses on before you go out there to shoot." Wasn't even a thing.
yeah,
Now I won't even let my son pull the trigger unless he's got some sort of eye
yeah,
protection
protection.
on. Ears and eyes.
Yeah, I mean, in the military, even it was ears. You had to have hearing protection, but up until probably Iraq Afghanistan, until we went into the global war on terror, nobody had eye pro.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you might wear a pair of cool guy sunglasses if you wanted to look. If you were, I mean, that was before Instagram, but if you, you know, one of the things being in the military, you always knew the new guy, the new private in an infantry unit because he had the $500 combat knife. He had all this stuff that he saw at the clothing and sales that was there for the special forces guys or the rangers, but they always had all this stuff and when we were, especially when we were first in, no, we weren't going to war, and who needs a $500 Gerber Tomahawk to run around the back 40 of Fort Lewis or Fort Drum or wherever we were
Well, you
at.
need two of them just in case, and they
Well,
need to be crossed on your back.
well, then then the Patriot came out. Then you had to have you had to have two and all and you could always tell. And so you bought the cool guy stuff, and I think that just morphed even more so now that you have Instagram and you see whoever. There's some guys that are former special operators, and they have their endorsement deals, and they're making money off of it. And
Right. Well,
there's nothing wrong with it, but you also have to, when you're going to buy that stuff, you have to understand what you're buying. And I've noticed that even in the sporting world, in the hunting world now, suppressors are, really an integral part of. You watch a lot of these like hunting shows, and they all got a can. They all got a can on the end of the barrel. Um, you
well,
know,
well.
so
Everything is feeding into this all at once. It's almost like a perfect storm. But the what's going on with the suppressor world is blowing my mind. So in January 1, there's no more tax stamps. So I mean, there are still tax stamps. I assume. I'm not really sure how they're going to do that because the tax stamp is the receipt for the $200 that you don't have to pay anymore. So I guess no more tax stamps. But anyway, you still have to apply and do the form and everything. And January 1 will be whenever we figure it all out. But everybody's been holding off on buying their suppressors since then. But what that ethos from the special operators feeding into the Instagram, I think I see your point here, and then coming back into the civilian world, and then now it back feeds the suppressor market, and which is great. I mean, I'm pro suppressor since suppressors came out, since I've ever seen a suppressor. You know, how do I make the gun work? Everybody gets a suppressor and they're like, oh man, now I got on this pistol and it doesn't work with this ammo, or I got, yeah, oh, well, you can't use subsonic ammo because it doesn't cycle. Might as well have a bolt action at that point. All the things. And these are all the issues we fixed once we came out with the TRD 215. We started the machine gun first. We made it run solid as a machine gun 100% of the time, suppressed, unsuppressed. A lot of that has to do with buffer weight. The buffer springs take some of that heat. But the the gun is solid. And once the gun got solid, how do we get the gas out of the soldier's face? And the bipartisan of this is not about the carcinogens not going up your nostrils, or it's not about the carcinogens blinding you in the face or getting on your skin or the hearing loss. It is all about making the shooter more comfortable with running a suppressor, making him like, oh, I'm not going to be afraid to shoot this suppressor. Like some guys, me myself included, would rather not run a suppressor in full auto or not run a suppressor at all. I'd rather go into a room and blast away if the sound wasn't an issue because my reliability in my gun
right.
is so much better. But if you make the gun solid and you put one suppressor on it and then you change the buffer weights and you fit everything to where it works like a well-oiled machine, man, it's the most beautiful singing sewing machine thing you get ever hear. It's like dragging a well-made knife across a stone when it's sharp. It's like you just feel quality, and everything just works. And once you get all those pieces together, you get all the right ingredients. I basically took all the chefs of the world, all the best chefs. I went to the Culinary Institute and I said, "Hey, what's your favorite spoon?" you know. And I said, hey, what's your favorite spoon? And then I was like, all right, here's the best knife set for you. And they're like, wow, this is awesome. But because the guys train so well and they're the best, it worked
And,
for them.
and then it works for everybody else. I mean,
That's
that's the
right.
other thing. And you were talking about safety, the safety issue of suppressors and things like that. But the number one thing is it's if your gun doesn't go bang, if it doesn't work when you pull the trigger with a suppressor, it shouldn't go bang. But if it doesn't work every time you pull the trigger, it doesn't matter that you're not getting gas in your face. It doesn't matter that you're not diminishing your hearing because you're you're worried about not receiving lead poisoning from that guy down the way while you're trying to give him lead poisoning.
Right.
And if it doesn't work, if you pull the trigger and it doesn't work, then there's a whole lot more health and safety issues than all these other things that you're fixing, but is kind of a secondary issue. The first primary issue is uh suppressive fire. Being able to shoot at the bad guy gives you the best chance of survival in a gunfight. And if that does it, then if everything else is working too with your suppressor and your gas block, this whole system, man, that's just all. I'm kind of making I'm simplifying it, but that's gravy. That's
Yeah.
the gun works. It's a solid gun,
It's a tool.
and then all the other stuff is great. It just adds to the usability of that tool, right? You built the most solid tool you can build. That should be something that law enforcement agencies, military is a little bit different because of the contracting process, but that should be something that law enforcement agencies and people that are buying short barreled rifles, machine guns, for their SWAT teams, for their different operators, they should be looking for, does the gun go bang every time I pull the trigger?
Look, you can. I like my favorite because I used to be a mechanic, and my analogy is you can make a good career with Craftsman tools,
Yeah.
but the pros you snap on a Mac. Is that 9/16 wrench any better than that 9/16 wrench? Maybe I'm showing my age because I'm not even using metric. Well, F yeah, it is. You know why? It feels better in the hand. It's quality. I put pipes on it over and over again. It hasn't broken. The chrome doesn't flake off. All the things that make this wrench $45 versus this one that's 12 that no one sees because they don't use them enough. And we went all the way to the depths of the baddest dudes and said, hey, what are you using? Why is the problem? Here we are. So I say all that to say this: the ported upper. The ported upper, it was the fix to all these problems. We back the rifle up into the suppressors, and the gas that goes into the receiver freaking expels right after the gas key into the ambient air outside above the ejection port. So the gas goes 45 degrees, well, roughly 45 degrees out and roughly 45 degrees up away from the shooter. So it goes out of their face. And the beauty part about this, what we found out, is it makes bolt speed consistent in select fire positions, which was crazy. I mean, if you've done a mag dump or any kind of snail drum mag thing or any kind of belt fed, sometimes you'll get like you do it so long there'll be a speed variation. So it'll be like, and then rounds per minute will go, whoa, and you're like, what the fuck? This thing's about to blow up. Oh, thank goodness, it's slow down. And a lot of that has to do with lube and gas and rounds and all the different variations. But one thing that we didn't take into consideration is how fast that bolt's moving in that chamber. And whenever it pulls all that gas in and then the bolt slides back forward to pick up the next round, all that gas shoots right through the charging handles like a perfect channel. So we ported it right there on the side. And what happens is the bolt ends up shoving all that gas out the holes, roughly 60 to 70% of it. I mean, it's like you can shoot a suppressed 10-inch gun all dang day on full auto and be just fine. You're not really cleaning your glasses. If you clean your glasses because they're dusty, you get some oil, depends on how oily your stuff is, but that's natural. What you don't get is the gas in the face. And you don't see it either. You never saw it before. You just knew it was there because you smelled it and it was on your skin, or it was in your eyes or up your nose, or, after a full day of shooting, I freaking go into the shower and I'm like I've been welding all day,
Right.
you know? They're like, what the hell is going on? I just breathe all that stuff in. And gunpowder, especially, half exploded because they didn't change the ammo, mind you. All this ammo that was made was designed to shoot out of a 20-inch AR with a rifle length gas system, our Kentucky rifles. It's the same ammo that we shot back then. It's the same ammo they shoot now. They haven't changed the mixture one bit. So they shortened it all up and and made the gas pressure even more and more and more and more. And then we add a suppressor. Now it's just solid gas going back. There hasn't been a gun that hasn't been overgassed since the M4 was designed. The M4 carbine is overgassed.
Right.
You know, if it wasn't, we wouldn't have all these buffer problems. You know, there wasn't like in the rifle length buffers, there weren't like a heavier one or a lighter one and all these different variations to do all
No.
this shit. No, so we're really trying to fix the problem of too much damn gas. And we were there. Maybe no one wanted to. Maybe no one had the wasn't around it enough to be like, man, this is a real issue. It's like, oh, it's only an issue when this, and this, but and then translate it over. But I really think we got something here, and so we shopped it around, did a bunch of testing, got all the angles right, found out the most efficient way to do it. And somewhere around 10 months ago, I guess, at this point, we got the final design down, started producing them, and put it out and shopped it to the public. Had a couple of our uppers in the Alito gun shop down there. So plug Tom, Alito Arms and Ammo. That's the place to go if you're around here.
Okay. I have to check them out.
And so he carried our products in the civilian market and pushed it down here to some of these guys. I mean, it was well received. He couldn't keep them in stock. We couldn't make them fast enough. And so we thought we really have something here. It's not only does it provide it not only does it change the ethos to where most people want to use suppressors and hearing protection, it takes away all the negative in the suppressors. So ultimately will increase shooters' hearing. It goes if we can make this ubiquitous in the military, then it goes to drop VA disability claims by 50%. How many millions in the aggregate will something like this save? The U.S. government, the taxpayer, just based off safety alone. I'm not even including the carcinogens. I'm not even including the cancer-causing agents that gunpowder's made out of that shoots directly in your nose. I don't know if you remember. I remember whenever they were teaching us to shoot, and I'm sure you do, but their big thing was if you can't get your good cheek weld nose to the charging handle.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, you're literally you're the main breathing apparatus is a half inch away from where all this overgas is going now.
And you're kind of pushing your nose, so it's even making your nostrils flare a little bit. So, you think about that. Just thinking about soldier health, which is probably, we've talked about the most important thing of soldier health is the gun working, or shooter health is the gun working. But, you think about the things that we've experienced and they've related to other things. So you got the Vietnam era guys, they had all the, they have a lot of cancers and they've attributed those to Agent Orange exposure. But that was also when the M16 swapped out from the M14 carb or the M14. So a different, now you had that charging handle with the gas being blown into their face. That maybe wasn't you didn't attribute to that. And then you look at guys, especially Afghanistan and Iraq, the global war on terror, OIF, OEF guys, we have the burn pit toxic exposure things that have come on. And,
the PACT Act.
The PACT Act,
Mhm.
we have, I have, talking about disability and things like that, I have chronic cough that nobody's figured out for 20 years why I have this cough. And it is, and I have what they want to say is allergies, but I mean, even when I take allergy meds, I have a constant, sinus issues and things like that. And that very well maybe be contributed, no, I don't think anybody's ever looked at, well, I wonder if it was from shooting. I wonder if it was from exposure to um
Well,
the half burnt gunpowder that they snort, that we snorted um like it was a recreational drug.
no joke. I mean, yeah, and the PACT Act is really, it's not just limited to the burn pits. I started looking into it because I was a diesel mechanic in the military, and so I was around all the naphtha and carburetor cleaner, and not that the diesels have carburetors, but the cleaner, and brake cleaner and all the stuff. And of course, did, is that any of that exposure covered? Sure. If I get cancer later, God forbid, you know, um, then maybe it's attributed to that. I don't know, but the you can't retroact that stuff. But what I have said, like I've got an uncle in Louisiana who was in Vietnam, and or he was he was around. He was, I don't think he went to Vietnam. He was. I mean, people said to shuffle papers, right?
Yeah.
And
My dad was a mechanic in the Vietnam era, and he was in Germany the whole time.
yeah.
You know,
So I mean, it wasn't just that. What I think people don't realize is the amount of infrastructure that takes to keep the fighting machine going, and the amount of overlap and stuff that's overlooked, um, that actually hurts the soldier. I mean, I remember going through, what is it, weekly training about, how not to be a hole while you're on leave or for the weekend.
right.
Here's what not to do from a moral compass situation. I'm like, dude, here's what not to do to me from a moral compass situation.
Well, and things that are um that like even that you use in the military that aren't you don't use in most civilians don't use. There's stuff that is very carcinogenic um that you just that's just because of for whatever reason because it's the government. I mean, to be honest, there's stuff you use. I know
Well, I mean,
if you
you took an oath. You do whatever they tell you to, and you assume they have your best interest at heart. But even if they don't, hey, I mean, you signed the paper, and you're willing to die for your country. So, I mean, if your
and
buddies are losing a leg, you should be all right with putting brake cleaner underneath your fingernails.
yeah. Oh, well, but and if you look at like I don't know because you were at Irwin. I don't know if there was a lot of. I didn't spend a lot of time there. I did like one rotation through. So like at Fort Lewis and Fort Drum, those were my two main duty stations. They had the old World War II barracks
Yeah,
and all the tile in those
asbestos.
were asbestos. But and what did you do at least if you didn't do it daily? What did you do at least once a week? You had a GI party. You got out a buffer and you buffed that tile and you made it shine. And as part of that, I mean, you were aerosolizing asbestos.
Yeah,
And it's just like things like that that people don't think about.
the barracks I was in for the first 2 weeks I was there got destroyed after, because of asbestos, like months after.
So it's just we're rabbit trailing down some different stuff, and I want to, but it just some of the things just that you're talking about makes you think about as a veteran. Look, we all signed up to serve. I said I'm going through some stuff trying to with my disability, and you know, I had some great things that I wouldn't trade that happened to me in the military. I'm 53. Even though I wouldn't trade those, there's some things that have happened to me that at 53, my quality of life has been impacted.
Yeah.
I know yours has too, and from your service, and it's like I'm not. I would never trade. Honestly, I would never trade a minute of what I did because I think that serving set me up for so many different things in life.
No, most, yeah.
Just as a person, not even anything else, and it gives you a sense of of purpose and honor and understanding mission and
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, some people
um,
didn't see that. You know,
some didn't, but
some people didn't get that. A lot of people haven't got that, especially in the Afghanistan pullout. That sense of honor and purpose kind of got chunked out. That
yeah,
was,
but that was politicians that didn't get that. I mean, again,
yeah.
let's
Anyway,
not that
anyway,
we not
yeah.
that I don't. I mean, that's a great conversation we can have. Maybe I know you're going to come back and talk about some other things, and that would be a conversation to have during there. But I don't want to rabbit trail away from because this is so you're talking about your ported upper,
Well,
and you have a
but
that's patent pending, or is there
it
something else?
it is patent pending. So yeah, we I don't know, 3 or 4 months ago, we were like, hey, we got something here. Let's get an attorney involved. And hired a patent attorney, and he went down the rabbit hole. He's like, holy shit, no one saw this. And we're like, yeah, I know, we haven't seen it either. And we're like, well, let's do it. So we turned it in. And, yeah, we're just waiting. Stuff like this. I've got a buddy of mine that submitted a patent for some belt fed stuff, and he said, and this I'm naive because this is my first go around, but so I'm talking like I've never done this before because I never have. And but he was saying that the attorney's saying the average wait time is 18 months. And so I sent him my email about 2 months in, checking up. He's like, well, might be a little longer. They're 5 to 6 months backlogged. I'm like, damn, must be a lot of software patents out there. and and on top of that, so I was asking my buddy about it, and he's like, yeah, whenever I submitted my belt fed semi-automatic thing, I had to go through the DoD first to get verified that we didn't need it or it wasn't of national interest. So I can't remember the name of the Department of something something through the patent office, but basically it's a great check. I didn't even really think about that branch of the government existing up until I submitted for something, and then I was like, man, that's really great. What if I invented a new nuclear bomb and it just rushed through some bunch of pencil pushers? And I'm like, no, I got it, sucker. You know?
Yeah, they got to make sure it's I forget what it's called, but yeah, basically make sure that it's not a national security
Right.
thing where if you sell it on the open market and
Yeah.
Russia or China or Venezuela or whoever buys it,
Yeah. Well,
um,
well, it turns out that portion of the government was shut down. It wasn't essential. So we're back in business as of this week. And because of this, the 18-month timeline that my attorney told us about, I talked to my other buddies like, no, because I have to go through this special stuff. It took me 3 years for mine. I was like, wow, all right. So, we got some time, and hence while my patent pending is a legal status. So that's why you see it on everything. So we're patent pending currently, and we're opening for licensing. So that's our big push this year at Shot. We're gonna see if we can get this gun in the hands of some manufacturers and maybe some people that are really wanting to push this forward. Uh, and if it doesn't work out with them, they don't want to do it or they don't see the promise that we see. I don't care. I think the mission's good. I'll get funding. I'll manufacture these things ourselves. We're already doing it now. We just
right,
need to scale it up. So it's not like I'm out there like, please give me licensing or whatever. But the fact of the matter is this does help soldiers. The fact of the matter is this will impact the amount of money a taxpayer has to pay uh, from first responders and veterans uh, in the aggregate after the VA claim, after they're not professional shooters, after they don't hold a gun for a living, after, and you're doing this for everybody else. So, plus it makes shooting way more fun and it looks cool. So that happened. That's a happy side effect.
so I do have a question. Thinking about things, because I'm a left-handed shooter.
Yeah.
So how does where it's vented, does that have any impact on?
Nope.
Okay,
Nope.
just
So I'm left-handed as well. I shoot right-handed because I'm right-eye dominant, but um, the and I got a bunch of left-handed friends as well. I've built some left-handed rifles for some folks. The ejection port, the only difference between a left-handed gun and a right-handed gun is, you can make both left-handed AR and we can eject out the left side, and then you guys got to keep it on your left shoulder. it's not any more impactful than the ejection port already is. So the spent gas goes out basically the same path as the shell, anyways. So if that wasn't a problem, then there are no problems.
Okay, so it's not. I was trying to think if if I'm holding and it's going, it's not gonna. You're not seeing any kind of like
Yeah, nah.
gas ported onto the. Well, you're more maybe more a little bit underneath,
I
depending
so
on your.
it's been brought up multiple times. I mean, we've had some left-handed shooters shoot it and mess with it and jack with it, and I mean, like I said, I've shot it left-handed too because I'm left-handed. But just to see what's up is there's no difference. It's all this does. It's so crazy that no one's done this already. Is the thing, and it's everything is after the fact. It doesn't affect the function of the rifle. I mean, the bolt is already shooting backwards. The force
Right.
is already applied. And we're dealing with the ambient gas pressure inside the upper at that moment when the bolt leaves the gas key. That split second when the gas pressure is the highest inside the upper receiver, that's where the vents are.
So what about? I know we've been talking, you know, 62 grain 5.56. What about? Is this applicable to like if I'm shooting a basically an AR-10, shooting a 308?
Well,
Or is that something down the road that you're
yeah, and
working
that
on?
may be something down the road. I mean, so no one really shoots full auto 308 unless you're doing a belt. So it's so we didn't apply to that, and we got some full auto 308s we've tried it on and stuff, but it's just there's gas to the face, but it's mainly for the AR-15 platform. And this and not just 5.56 though. I mean, we got some 6 millimeter arc guns that are performing like crazy.
Right. Well, like an the AR-10 is the 308 version of the,
Right, just larger. Yeah.
or I know, there's when I was stationed, they're out of business, but Olympic when they were Olympic Arms when they were still in business, there in Washington State. I mean, they made a 30 or they made a AR platform in every caliber you could think of, from 22 long rifle to,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, so the PCC world, wait, is that right? PCC, the pistol caliber carbine.
carbines.
That's an acronym that I'm working on. It's been in the industry for a minute that I'm just learning. And but the pistol caliber carbine, as long as you could have an AR-15 base upper, then it'll work. Now, will it be as effective? Will you need it? Probably not. I mean, like most 9 millimeter pistol caliber carbines are blowback. They don't have a gas system,
Right.
so it's really ineffective. But it will look cool. I won't say it won't look cool, but what will it do a whole lot? I'm not sure.
Well,
I
I
mean,
know there was some. So even the AR pistol caliber carbine,
they didn't have a gas tube.
they don't have any aftershooting.
Yeah,
I mean,
I mean, I think there was like an initial thing, like maybe Colts did. I'm not even
I was
100
going to
sure
say I
about
knew
Colts.
Colt made like before
No, I'm pretty sure that's blowback too. Yeah, I think it's all blowback.
it's all blowback, because
Yeah,
I know Colt had it was basically a 9 millimeter based off the car, which was the original.
yeah, and if you're gonna do a 9 millimeter, carbine, I mean, the AR wasn't made for that. It don't do. If you're trying to adapt some crap to adapt some crap, it's like putting a 4 cylinder in a big block Chevy muscle car, and you're like, well, it'll work. Let's give it a shot, and like really high RPMs. It has that going for it, something of that nature. So if you're going to do a 9 millimeter or 45,
45,
yeah, whatever. I mean,
40.
they've
Yeah.
already got guns for that. B&T makes great guns for that. I mean, all the APC models, and then if you're an 80s fan, all the MP5s are still good and stuff. But the USC, that's a cool gun. But yeah, man, that's the thing. We're looking for licensing, and we have a patent pending product that we think not only will provide the DOW some solace
Right.
and will sell like hotcakes, assuming anybody wants to pick it up. And the it's just better for you, It is.
So I know you, as on my Donovan Manufacturing mug, it says by professionals for professionals
Yeah.
is your, so that's your market. I get that.
Mhm.
Right. And that's a very important market.
Yeah. Well, we're
But,
not trying to go to the masses right now. I mean, we're trying to
but
do.
if I'm, so I'm, a veteran or, I mean, the AR platform rifle is, you know, common. There's a ton of them,
Yeah, approximately 24 million in the United
24
States.
million, and that's in civilian hands, or is that
Yeah.
in, so if I'm one of those guys and I'm like, hey, I don't, I don't have a class 3, so I just have my semi-auto, uh, M4, AR-15, whatever, whatever you want to call it. And I see this new deal and I want to run a can on it because, you know, again, I saw some dude on, uh, Instagram or TikTok or Facebook shooting hogs with a suppressed rifle. And I'm like, man, I want to go out and kill me some hogs with a suppressed rifle. And so I call you up and I say, hey, Russell, I want to buy one of these things. What's that? I mean, I know you're not there, but if I'm going to guess that you're a capitalist, so eventually you're going to want to tap into that $24 million or that 24 million, uh, gun market. So if I call you up and I'm like, man, I want to buy one of these and I'm not the cool guy, what, what's the cost to consumer? What do I have to buy a
No.
whole new gun? What's the,
So we priced it
let's,
real. So we factored in because it's an extra machining step. You know, it takes a lot. We bring them in and we take it to the machine shop and then we send it off and have them type 3 hard coded. You know, just like every other manufacturer. But the our market currently, I mean, when we Alito Arms and Ammo, I think was retailing them around 129, somewhere in there. Your typical gun guru will spend like $200 is about the target price of where an add-on for an AR-15 needs to be. Like, if you're gonna make a gun better, you'll spend $200. The thing is I can think of 1,000 different products to make every piece of the gun better except the upper receiver.
right.
I've seen lower receivers that got skulls made into them. I've seen some that have flared magwells. You know, some that like, hey, this is ambi. You know, there's a whole bunch of different stuff done with the lower handguards, totally different weights, different lengths. You know, different hookups. Barrels now, the barrel technology is out of this world. I mean, like we use ballistic advantage barrels. They're baller. I mean, they're doing everything. We've outperformed several other manufacturers that I don't want to name, and the the we just found the best shit put together. And but all that, nobody screwed with the upper receiver. And you can buy a Voltor A5 upper receiver. Those things are like a buck 50 or somewhere in there, and they just look cool, you know. And they're the best of the best. They're the and Volt. I give props to Voltor. They got some really awesome designs out there, and they made some really killer stuff. Um, they were one of my favorite stocks till I had a beard. And, so uh, the the fact that nobody's changed the upper receiver since the original upper receiver. I mean, now they've changed it. The carry handles come off, right?
Right.
Now rails been put on, but no one's changed the function.
Functionality.
And we did. And the minute we did, boom, it like it's been working. I mean, hundreds of thousands of rounds downrange through multiple shooters. I mean, we're blowing and going. And the average guy could pick it up at Alito Arms and Ammo for around $120. So that $150 receiver, we're $30 under that. We're actual product that works, and uh, you're not spending $200 on some backup sites that you never use anyway that look cool. Like, oh, you got the best backup sites? Great. Who needs? I mean, like, no one's running those anymore. You know, who's got? Not saying there's not a use for them. I'm just saying, you know,
Right. I mean,
and
for your, typical, I got a, I got an AR in my closet guy. You, you don't need what, you don't need
well, the big
backup sites and all the stuff that, again, it's the Instagram. This is what looks cool. And that makes me think that,
I think one argument that people might try to make is if I need I don't run a suppressor of 16, or they definitely run a 16-inch barrel, but I don't run a suppressor on normal, and I don't kick indoors. And what good is this going to be for me? And I'm going to tell you two things. One, you don't have to just receive the full effect. You know what I mean? Like 60% is what I'm claiming. If you shoot 2 rounds, it's going to save any gas in your face, and any gas in your face is worth savings. And hell, if it's sub $200, it's worth savings to me. And the second thing is you will have a suppressor because January 1, the tax stamp isn't going to be irrelevant.
Well, the other things you talked about too with this, with your ported upper is it makes the gun run more consistent. So even if you're not running like even if I'm not running a suppressor and I just
Yeah.
want to have a better functioning AR platform gun, um, I there you go. It's going to function.
Dude,
Your bolt cycling speed and everything's going to be more right.
yeah. I mean, everything's great. I mean, it really does
And
smooth everything
so
out. It's like putting the best exhaust on your car kind
so
of thing.
yeah, so even if you're a bench shooter where you're shooting, um you're not maybe doing rapid fire, but it's still going to make the gun function smoother. Um,
Yes.
so it's not just for the cool guy with the suppressor or for the guy that wants to be a cool guy and in January is going to buy a suppressor.
Right.
If you're shooting an AR-15, you have engineered a better upper receiver for whatever you want to do with that AR-15.
I concur with that.
So and I think that's again, you're right now you're targeting law enforcement, government agencies is your primary target.
Right. We sell them complete rifles. We don't sell them uppers, So
But they could. But now the question, I guess, once you get the patent, if and I don't know enough about.
well, we're going to continue to work. So the idea is, if this works out and someone picks something up or whatever, we still want to continue to provide rifles to our customers. And so Donovan Manufacturing is still, so it's as long as you stay under 100 guns, there's some ATF stuff involved here, but we're going to manufacture 100 guns a year, and we're going to do a drop, and those 100 guns are going to go to law enforcement agencies first. Of course, we do side gigs too. We have a package going out, like Executive Outdoor Adventures. They have our guns. We built one in 7.62 by 39 for hogs. We have the TRDT-15, which is our flagship gun down at the ranch. The TRDT-15 stands for the Ranch, Dilley, Texas. So if you're law enforcement and you need training, or if you're a government agency that's looking for a place, this is a top tier facility down there. It's ranchtx.org. And Chad down there is a really great guy. And they got Ranch Media down there, and they got some cool stuff going on with some cinematography stuff, which I'm pretty excited to get into. And they got explosive license down there, so we can blow up crap.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, yeah.
So so you're gonna do a drop. So your 100 gun drop is gonna go.
We don't know yet. Sometime in the spring.
And it's gonna be
Yeah.
for law enforcement. It's so
Yeah.
LE only, LEO.
We'll post to the website, but like all our law enforcement agencies that we know about it, we'll get the drop early. So
We'll get
whatever the cops don't pick up,
and then it'll be available.
yeah, I suspect that's how we're gonna do it.
That'd be awesome. What else?
Man, that's it, brother. Thanks for having me on. Thanks. The view's great. I love this place. I live, not that far from here, but I don't got a view like this.
Hey, so a couple things because we kind of jumped right into it. So you got Trinity Amusements. You have Dillon Manufacturing.
Donovan
Or
Manufacturing.
Donovan Manufacturing.
Mm-hmm. Dylan Donovan.
Dylan Donovan. Yeah,
my partner.
Dylan's a good dude. What anything on the horizon as we finish out for either of those two companies that don't directly relate to the ported upper?
Man, I got a whole bunch of stuff on that. But that would be pretty rad if we maybe
Come back and talk about it.
let's come back and talk about it, because I think I could
fill another hour. And then you also have, as part of partnering with the ranch Dilly, Texas, and you're is it under Donovan Manufacturing, the security, um,
Right. So we got the security company.
and you
That
guys do training and provide
hmm Yeah. So Donovan Security or Donovan Manufacturing, two separate companies. The security companies on the executive protection side, and that's been blowing up. So we just got some of the best dudes out there doing the most professional work, and the that's kind of been bred out of the ranch, taking some of those guys that train down there that, need side gigs or whatever, or that don't do side gigs, do this professionally.
professionally.
This is what they do. And so working with these dudes, we've now been able to provide protection for a lot of our clients up here. And then the ranch hosts, I mean, it's a training facility. I mean, if you're someone who uh, is someone who trains or a trainer, someone who does pistol training anywhere. I mean, this is or any kind of training for that matter. This is the place to do CQB. I mean, they got a 20,000 square foot live fire shoot house. It's a designated drop zone by the DOW. And the which actually, I make fun of it, but I prefer the DOW
Yeah, yeah, we all do. It's just what we're used to. But it's like, you know what?
and so it's a badass place, and so but it's not like it's untouchable. Like think of it like an event center. You can come down there, you talk to Chad, you like, hey, you're down on the lower range today, or hey, you got the shoot house today, and then everything moves around. You got the 1,000-yard range, the shoot house, all the things.
And then you guys still doing machine gun rentals and all that stuff
Yep,
for
yep.
events and
Yeah. So yeah, if you guys got something going down, you want to get some machine guns out there, you know, bachelor party or something of that nature, uh, fully insured, we'll come out there and set up our stuff and let you guys have some fun with some really cool stuff.
cool. All right, buddy. Well, again, I appreciate you coming on. I'm excited to see where this ported upper goes, and as the process goes through it, learn more about it with you. Just because I'm a geek about stuff like that, I like how the stuff works in the background. Um, it's always great to talk with you, and we'll have you back and talk about some of these other things you got going on. Because like I said, I know the coffee I'm drinking this morning is your bag of coffee. You had a
Yeah.
coffee business. You've had so much stuff, Evan. So that's why you get the moniker the king of the side hustle. So
Well,
thanks,
that's
buddy. And guys, if you're looking for any of these things, search them out on the web, find them. And as we close out, I'd like to thank Kellyanne Cardwell from Cardwell Creative as our uh, executive producer and technical advisor here. I'd like to thank Rowdy Decker and the Rowdy Decker Band for allowing us to use his song from his 2022 release called Blue Collar. And man,
right on,
have a good
brother.
one, buddy.
Thanks, man.
All right, guys, and check us out on the web. We'll talk to you soon.
Zip ties, duct tape, and baling wire, holding this world together.